Hello, welcome. This is Sam of Sam Bookery. Welcome to week 4 of my series, Notebook to Junk Journal, No Printer Needed. This week, you guys, I've got all the stuff because we are making interactive elements for our journal. All kinds of types of interactive elements. So I've gathered a few things here. If you followed the first video and did the scavenger hunt list to gather your supplies, you should have everything you would need. Besides different paper and envelopes this week, I'll also be using washi tape. You can also use fabric scraps and just some glue, a glue stick or art glitter glue, and a pair of scissors. And that's all we need to make some fun interactive elements in our notebook junk journal. So let's get started. Let's start with something fun and add an interactive element to our cover. I've got this old business envelope that has a window on it, and it's been lightly coffee dyed. And I thought I would use it to make like a flip. So maybe this tree is hidden. We'll put washi on the edge and then flip it open. You may be able to find one that doesn't have words all over it, but that doesn't matter because we're gonna cover it all up. So I've got a few things I thought would work to cover up this envelope. These are some old pages from a typing textbook, like typewriter. And I've got a rose plant catalog, and I thought those would look good on here. So I'm just going to keep this here. I want to kind of coordinate the colors with what's already going on my cover. And just add a few things, especially the front part. When we flip it back, this can be anything. It doesn't have to match, but I definitely want the front to look nice with the colors that are already here, which are blues and then like pinks and lavenders. So thought I'd get something. This looks nice with the yellow and the sunset and the pink. I like this one. We'll start with this. So I just want to cover everything up except this window here. This might look nice at the top, so let me trim it. I'm trying to see, yeah. And you know, there's a famous song, The Yellow Rose of Texas, so I think having a yellow rose on there is nice. So let me just go ahead and add some glue. And we'll lay this on here. Like that. We'll let that dry for a minute. And I think I'll add some of this paper here. So I don't need, we'll cut this down a little bit. And there's nothing going on here. All right, so let me add some glue here. Got a little too much glue here, so let me wipe that off. All right, now we can flip this over and cut off the extra of this rose print just around the edge here. So here's what we have so far. We can cut this part off too now. So I just need something here, and I don't even necessarily need to cover the bottom, but I do want to cover all of this wording up. So I could just use the extra piece of this, which why not? Let's do that. Just even it up. And it's a little wide, but I think this will be okay if we put it like this. So I'm just using art glitter glue. You can use just a regular glue stick if you want, or Elmer's. Just something that's good for gluing paper to paper. Then just trim it to the size of your envelope. All right, so here's what we have so far. Like we need something like darker along the bottom because this page is light at the top and dark at the bottom. So let's look through here, see if we see, I mean, there's no blue roses, are there? But maybe something darker. Maybe like a, what about this dark purple here? Let's try that one. I'll cut this one out. This is called Night Owl. Yeah, I like that there. I might like it better than that, but we'll see. Let's cut a little piece of this. I think I'll do it all along the bottom edge just to kind of give it some grounding. All right, so let's put some glue on this guy. And just trim them out. All right, so here's what we have so far. And now don't forget, we are using washi on this edge, so there will be some color over here. So I think it's fine to leave that just to have some contrast. And now we just need to cover the back. So pick something like this. That's like one giant image. I think that might be nice. And I don't think I have, ooh. I like this light rose though. I don't know, what do you guys think? Yeah, this one's bright. Let's use this one. I'll just have to piece it a little bit. Let me cut off all the text on this one. Got this guy here. Let's see. It's gonna flip open like this. I'll put him right here. Actually, I'll put him at the top because it's a nice light color. So just run my glue around the edge here. I got some inside. Don't want to glue my envelope shut. Well, actually, I'm going to glue part of the envelope shut because we're going to make a pocket in it. I don't want things sliding around too much in the pocket. All right, let's trim that out. Slide this over. Okay. So let's see. So like this, I'm just gonna flip out. Let's add something else. Got this pink one. Do this nice pink one here. Looks good. So that was pretty easy. That's the envelope decorated. Now we want to make something to put inside, since we do have this nice window here. So far, here's what we have, and this is going to flip out like this. And I thought, let's see, what did I pull to put inside? I've got this little tag that came off a bouquet of flowers. And I thought that'd be cute in the window, but the backs, I don't like the back. So I've got this index card I thought I'd glue to the back. Let me cut off this tag. And we'll just throw some glue on the back of this tag here. You can get some great ephemera on like tags that come on products, especially clothing, but this was a really cute one that came with some flowers I got. So I've been saving it. I'm glad to have a use for it now. And I should probably get a hole punch and punch this hole out, but I'll do that later. So now we've got some secret writing space on the back of this. And we'll want to slip this in here and have it kind of sit in this pocket, right? So it's viewable through the window. So I don't really want it sliding around up in the top part of the envelope. So I'm going to glue this top part closed. So I'm just going to kind of reach inside and do a bead of glue just north of this window and then along the outside edge. And that should be enough to keep it closed. Now our secret pocket is just on this bottom part. And all we need to do now is attach this to the cover. If this looks a little messy to you, don't worry. Remember, we're doing this in 6 weeks. The last week we're doing final touches, and that's when we're gonna go back and we can add some cute trim or even cut off parts of this scalped edge and add that on there. We're gonna do the final touches at the end. We're just getting basics done now. I've got this bowl of washi here, and I was thinking to use this blue because there is a lot of blue here and blue bonnets down in the field, and this is a cute floral print. But I've got a lot of options. I kind of want a wider one because it is going around my cover, which is a nice thick hard cover. The yellow's cute. I think I'll go with the blue. It was my first instinct. And I did forget to mention, if this is the first time you're coming to this series, I'll link the whole playlist on the screen at the end of the video and in the description. But if you're interested in this particular notebook that we're using, there is a link in the video description to this notebook. But any notebook will work for this project. So let's get some washi. Let's make sure we get one long enough. All right, and then to stick it down, you do want to add a little glue because washi is not a permanent tape. It's meant to be removable, and I don't want this to come off the front of my journal, so I'm going to add a little glue down. All right. Now we need to position this where we want it on our journal cover. And I used a large envelope. It pretty much takes up the whole cover, but I'll try to center it top to bottom. And then you want to flip it over. Let me do this direction. All right, so just the washi showing, not the envelope, because you want the envelope lined up with the very edge of your cover. And then I'm just going to add a little glue to the washi tape here. And we're going to lift it up, fold it over the edge of our journal. Once you get it all folded, then do a nice firm press to make sure it seals. All right, let's flip it back and see how it's going. All right, look at this nice blue here. It brings in the blue over here, and this flips out. Very nice. You do see the washi on this side. And if that bothers you, we can add another layer. I think I will. Just, it'll make it sturdier too. We'll add another layer of washi on the inside of this seam as well. So let's cut another piece. Just put a little glue here. If you don't want it covering up any of your cover, then don't do this. You don't have to, but I think it'll make it sturdier, especially if you're going to be flipping it in and out very often. And there we go. And then this notebook, I like it because it's got this elastic band that goes over it, and that will help hold this flip down so it doesn't, you know, come loose. If your journal doesn't have that, you can easily do some sort of journal tie around this way. Just tie a piece of fabric or yarn or something to keep this flip from getting flipped when you don't want it to. But there we go. We made a nice interactive windowed element and added it to the front of our journal. Let's move on to the next interactive element. For this next interactive element, let's do something really simple. We are just going to make some fold-ins on the pages of our notebook. So just take one of your pages, fold it into the spiral, and press it down. And now you've got a page that flips out. Super simple. Let's do one also that maybe flips down. So similar to how we made the envelopes, we're going to tear this. And we don't have to tear it in half because we're not going to actually make an envelope. Just tear it down a little ways. We'll want to cut off this ragged edge. Now we've got a page that flips up. You can have something hidden under here. We can add a little tab to the bottom as a little lift. And let's try a different one. How about, oh, did I grab two pages? I did. All right. Let's do this. Let's do some layered flips. Cut that off. Now let's cut this one straight across here. About halfway. And fold it. And now we've got a flip this way. And it kind of gives you like a peekaboo of the next page. Since I already started tearing this one, let's see what we can do. Let me trim it down. Let's see if we can pull this out here. Okay, for this one, let's just fold these points down to the center. And then we can fold it down here. Now it looks kind of like a faux envelope, but you can flip it up and have something hidden in here. So those are some easy flips. You don't need anything but your notebook to make and a pair of scissors. Let's see what else we can do to make this journal interactive. Next, I want to show you another super simple way to add an interactive element to your journal. It's one of my favorite ways to do it because it not only adds something interactive, it also adds storage to your journal. And that's just using a regular plain envelope. You can decorate this if you want. You can coffee dye it. You can buy fancy envelopes that are already like really pretty colors with gold edges. But all you need to do with this is glue the flap down to one side of your page. And then you've got this interactive flip out here with this huge pocket to store ephemera or extra journaling cards or whatever you want. And this is a small envelope, so it will also fit along a top edge too, which is a fun way to do a top flip. So I think I will use this as a top flip since it fits. If you've got the longer envelopes, they're great for side flips. And I usually put several of these envelope flips in all of my journals. So get it lined up where you want. And then you want to turn the page. And just, I'm holding it down here and opening the flap so it doesn't move. And we're just going to put glue on the flap. You can use the adhesive that's already there, but I like to make sure this is nice and strong. Use my art glitter glue since this is an interactive element that will get a lot of use. And then fold it back down. And then this side has this nice, you know, envelope shape here that you can cover up if you don't like that. Just put a scrap of paper and collage it over it. I like it, it's cute. And then when we get to the final step of decorating, like I want to decorate this. So now on this page, you've got this nice flip up and you can stick something in here. And that's it. That was super easy. Next, one of my other super favorite ones. It's more involved, but also very easy and doable. So let me gather those supplies for that one. I'll be right back. So this next interactive element is a multi-flip. You'll want to start with a base that is a little bit sturdy. So you can use something like a postcard, cardstock. I've got this calendar that's nice and thick, so I thought I'd use this. And it's also fun to have something that's got a nice image because it's going to be covered up, but as you use the flips, it will be revealed in the end. So it's nice to have something pretty for the final reveal. So let's cut this guy out. And I will cut off this top hole. And then I need to decide on the width. You can make it as wide as you want as long as it still fits on a journal page. So I do need to trim this down a bit. It's wider than my journal. Okay, and then what we're gonna need is several other pieces that are smaller in height and width than the main piece, because these are all going to flip over each other to reveal what's underneath. They don't have to cover it. You definitely want them all different sizes and shapes. Let's start. So I've got this as my base. I love this postcard. This is great. And that's my next biggest size. And I've got this tiny tag from some clothing that I think will look nice. but we need something else. So I'm gonna grab some more roses from this catalog here. What color do we like? Kind of, this is mostly, oh, we've got red, kind of a reddish orange, blues and greens. So I think I will cut this one out. Now this catalog is very thin pages. It's like magazine, like thinner magazine type pages. So this flower is called Disneyland. I don't know that I want it. Do I want it to say that? No, I'm gonna cut that off. So this isn't sturdy enough for a flip. So you want to back it with something. Anything a little bit sturdier, or just having 2 layers is fine. Let's see. This one I'm going to show you. There's 2 ways to do the flips. We can just do pure washi hinge, or we can have a little bit of a hinge built into our flip. So here, since I had a white border on this rose, I just cut off the corners here. We are going to fold it along that line. And now we just snug that on here. And that gives us a nice hinge. And it looks good on both sides. But I do need to back this paper with something. So let me glue this whole thing down here. We'll just use a glue stick. And then trim it out, and then that will be one of our flips. And I actually prefer to have the paper tabs. To me, that's a nice sturdy hinge, but washi or the paper tabs will work. Ugh, this is why I don't like glue sticks. It just gets everywhere. I just feel like I'm sticky, the desk is sticky, everything's sticky. Okay. So let's trim this out. So I'm just gluing it to this textbook page, which is it's a little bit thicker than the magazine. So doubled together, they're plenty thick for a flip. And you can use thinner paper for your flips. You just have to be more delicate when you're using them. More gentle. Okay. So we have got this. And we have got this. Oh, let me re-fold this hinge now that we've got the backing on there. And I'm going to cut off this whole part here. Okay, so I've got my 4 flips. I ended up gluing some roses to the back of this clothing tag. And I got this page out of the rose catalog, and it was pretty on the back. So I'm going to try just doing the 1 layer because I didn't want to cover up this pink rose, and we'll see. And then we've got this one and this one. So you can definitely do more than 4, but just to start with, 4 is a great option. And then I like to have 1 flip from each side, top, bottom, left, and right. So now you want to kind of decide the order and which ones are flipping where. This is the biggest one, and it'll hide what's under here the best. So I'm going to put this here, and I think this will be a good bottom flip. It's nice and sturdy, and there's not much going on the back, so I think I'm going to put that on the bottom. Then I think this one is already oriented to the side, and this is oriented to the side. So we're going to kind of keep these on the side. And then this is a great top flip. And so we just need to decide where on the sides we want to put these. I think I'll just do this one low and this one high. So if you can kind of get them on your base where you want them. Now we'll have to use washi for this one because it doesn't have a paper flip. But I think I like these where they are, so I'm just going to flip this whole thing over. Similar to what we did with the envelope, and now just push the tab back and run some glue along the edge here. And glue it to the back of this. And remember, this will be glued down to your journal page, so you won't see any of this. All right, and then this one is down here. right, now I need to put some washi on this one. So let's pick out a washi tape. Oh, you guys, I have so many, it's hard to decide. All right, let's do this one. It's just got different green leaves on it, so. Let's cut a piece just a little bit shorter than what you're gonna put it on. A little bit of glue. And now we need to decide, I think I'll just try to center it right in the middle, but you can put it off center. Sometimes that looks nicer, but we'll just try to center it because I want to cover up as much of that background picture as I can. This looks pretty good. So let's flip it over and a little bit of glue on the tape. All right, so here's how the back looks. You've just got the tab showing. And here is the front. And I think you can always arrange what order you want the flips to happen in. That way, and you reveal the center picture. And now we need to glue this to a page in our journal. This also makes an awesome journal cover, this, type of project. As long as you have some way to wrap around to keep this closed when the journal's on your shelf, this is a fun element to have on the front cover. So let's just add this here. Center, bottom, I think I'll just do it in the center. You do have the option of making a hidden pocket behind this too, if you want to leave one of the sides open, like maybe this side, and we can stick something in there. Let's do that. So we'll just glue down the 3 sides, and that'll make this a giant hidden pocket in here. So let's see. These 3 sides. Give it a good press. And then doing kind of a hidden pocket with an ephemera with a pull tab on it is another one of my interactive elements I wanted to show you guys. So we'll just do it on this one. But it works with anything that's glued down on 3 sides to your page. All right. And of course, you can always add like little tabs and things to this. We may get to that on week 6, depending. We've got a lot to do on week 6 because that's to finish the whole journal up. But there's that guy. This guy is kind of curved because of the glue I used to glue them together. So I just, once the journal is closed for a little while, these guys will flatten right out. But let's make something to stick behind here. It needs to be something, I'd say a little bit thicker because you need to be able to pull it in and out without like wrinkling it. So I thought, let's see, I marked a few things in here. Yeah, this is a nice thick page in this magazine. This is a Daphne's Diary magazine, and it's got a variety of pages in it. Gosh, I know I marked those pages for something. We'll figure it out at the end. So this butterfly is pretty. It goes with the flower theme. So let's cut this down to fit behind here. That's a good width, and we'll just knock some off the top and bottom. Let's see. It's still too tall. It's a little too tight. Let's trim it up a tiny bit. Okay, so that gets in there. It doesn't disappear. I want it to disappear. except for a tab. So let's see. All right, it's totally disappeared, totally hidden in there. Let's make tab. The reverse side of this is like a pink. So I do want some way to get it out. If you want it totally hidden, like you don't want anyone to know that something is back there, don't put the tab. But I've mentioned before, I can't remember something's back there if I don't have a tab or something. So I will usually not even do like hidden journaling spots because they're so well hidden, I never go to them. So let's try to do just a little bit. That looks so terrible. Let's see. There we go. So I'm just gonna glue this on the edge, and that's a way to easily pull this in and out. So this is next interactive element. And of course, they don't have to be this big. If you find any picture or card you glue down to your journal, just leave one side open, and that's somewhere you can hide this. And just add a little tab if you want to easily be able to pull it in and out. There we go. So now when you flip to this page, you kind of see this tab here. You don't know. Interactive and interactive. Super fun. All right, let's try something else. Okay, just like we hinged these on to this card, we can also just hinge something on to the edge of a page. So this one is nice, it already has a line, but all you need to do is just fold over one edge of a piece of paper. To make the hinge, and I guess I can't hinge it here because we already have something on this page, but just hinge it to the page. Let's pick another page that's not got something going on. There we go. And then for this one, I thought it was fun because there is like an image and then some white space, just to cut around the edge of these butterflies and have a more interesting edge to this paper. And this will work with whatever imagery you're using. All right, so now we've got this. We're gonna hinge it to this page, and now, like in shot, and it flips open, and we've got this nice paper on the back. So same as the other one. Just want to position it where you want it on the page. Let's put it more, I think I'll do it more towards the bottom. I can't go all the way to the bottom on this journal because we've got like rounded corners. I think that would look weird, but pretty far. So get it where you want it, flip your page over, and then just add some glue to this hinge and fold it back. This is pretty thick, like cardstock, so I'm pressing really well. There we go. So now when you get to this page, here's another interactive element happening. And you can do that on the edge of any page or any top or bottom, just by taking something flat and turn one of the edges into a hinge by folding it. Okay, there's one last interactive element I wanted to show you guys today. And for that, you need a strip of paper. This is an old piece of wrapping paper. You can use a book page, whatever you have. We're gonna fold it up into squares or rectangles, just some kind of shape. We're gonna fold it back and forth. So fold one and then use that as a guide on where to fold the next one. So we're just basically accordion folding this. All right, so what you have now is a zigzag piece of paper, right? And what we want to do is add this to our journal. This is a nice summer color, so let's go to summer section here. And we are going to attach just the back piece. Now mine didn't come out even, but that's fine. It doesn't really matter what the size the back of it is. Just that the parts here are similar in size. So what we're gonna do, and I've already got something down here. And you know, I don't know if you noticed, I mentioned this in other videos. We tend to always put things at the bottom of the page, especially like pockets and things. And so if you look how skinny the top of the journal is and how fat it's getting towards the bottom and middle. So I do like to have elements that I can add to the top that add some bulk to kind of even the journal out. So what we're gonna do is glue this back page down to the journal. And then we will have an element when we get to this page that we can pull out. Now I feel like this is upside down, but I'm not gonna worry about that because I really want this on a right-hand page, but I guess we could do it on a left-hand page. Yeah, you know what? I'm a righty. I do things on the right, but it will work over here too. And then the wrapping paper design will be upright. So let's do that. All we need to do is throw some glue on this back panel. And position it on our page. And I'm just using this, and you will see both sides. You can pull it this direction or this direction. So this is already pretty here. I probably wouldn't add anything here, but now when we get to like fussy cutting day, this is a great place to glue down some fussy cuts. You can even use like a tiny scrap of paper. Let's do it. Where's my scissors? And this can be its own little like tiny journal element here. Oh, that looks terrible, you guys. No, we're gonna leave it. I'm not using any punches or any trimmers for this journal. I'm doing crazy wonky things and cutting by hand. So here's a tiny little pocket we can put on here. So you can add all kinds of fun things to this little flip out. So there we go. That's all it is. A strip of paper, accordion fold it, glue the back piece down somewhere in your journal, and now when you get to this page, you have this bit that folds way out. This is nice if you have a picture that is like a landscape, like if you're going through, you know, your magazines, your scraps, and you see a really pretty picture. I don't know if I have one, because most things are vertical here, but if you see something really pretty and it's a long picture, but you want to get like the whole thing on your page, but it's wider than your journal page, this is a way to get it in there. Like if you have maybe something from a calendars sometimes are like 12 by 12, they're giant. And if you want to get that whole image in here, folding it up accordion fold is a great way to get the image into your journal. So that is it. I hope you guys liked all these ideas on how to add interactive elements to this notebook junk journal. Making a journal interactive is like my favorite thing to do, and there's so many other ways, but I wanted to show you guys a good handful so that you can get started making your journal a little bit more fun and more interactive to use. Thank you guys for joining me this week while we added interactive elements to our notebook junk journal. I have made a PDF that you guys can use as a reference for all the types of ways that we have added interactive elements to our journal this week. There'll be a link in the description as well as on the video screen at the end of the video if you want to go download your free PDF. And come back next week. Next week we are doing fussy cuts. So much fun. We're going to add a lot of fun little elements to the journal. So I'll see you guys then. Thanks for stopping by. Goodbye.